The UnPodcast is brought to you by Emma. Get more from your email marketing.
In a world where QR codes kill kittens and customer service is an oxymoron, one podcast has set out to make things right. This is the UnPodcast with your hosts, Scott Stratten and Allison Kramer.
Happy summertime to our Western Hemisphere listeners.
It's the best time.
I hope you're enjoying it this summertime. Is that New Kids or Backstreet Boys?
I don't know.
Don't tell me you don't know.
I don't.
You sang Summertime.
I don't know.
Did we ever tell them?
I do
that
love summertime.
we saw New Kids and Backstreet Boys in Vegas, the concert?
I don't know if we did.
Killer show.
We can probably risk saying it again.
Oh, no sarcasm at all. Killer show.
It was a really good show.
Fantastic. We walked in right when they started. It was like perfect timing. The problem with, and Wayne being a concert man knows this, right? You get this whole thing where the concert starts at 8, but the opener goes on at 9.
Yeah.
Headliner 10:30.
Do you want concerts
Doors, 7 p.m.
to get to the point?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Do you
what-
want concerts to just
Not
get
like
to
the
point?
show. Yeah.
A lot like
Plus,
the show.
I want to. If it's at 8, come on at 8.
Yeah, quit
I also have a
the...
problem when they don't post set times.
Yeah, you want to set times and everything else where you're just like, come on, you gotta. Like when we went to see Seinfeld or something, 8 o'clock opener came on, 8:15 Seinfeld came on. Like,
That's
it's just like,
true.
that was much better.
Comedy
that way.
seems to be more
Or you go to the old
times.
days of Guns N' Roses, 2-hour delay until Axl felt like coming on the stage. Or Metallica, GNR. Metallica came on, and then GNR was an hour and a half later.
Yeah. I can see that.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
still
can see
rock.
Guns N' Roses doing that very easily.
But when we saw them last year in Vegas,
They were on time.
On time.
Yeah.
It's because Axel's sober.
Yeah, and 60.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah, he was
Really
amazing.
impressed by it. I'd go see him again. I liked it. Hi, everybody. Talking about not even on topic whatsoever. That's the show. We're happy for it, and we're happy you're here. We're always happy that Emma's here, too. Our fine sponsors at Emma. Go to emmaindustryreport.com for the recent email report.
He's waiting for the logo.
I don't know where the logo is.
He's waiting for the logo.
Adam!
He's waiting for... Hey, there she is.
Damn it. He's
Industry
lucky-
reports find 100% of Scots are upset when the logo doesn't come on right away.
We're lucky we don't pay him. So, did you know 58% of marketers plan to increase spending on email this year?
No, I did not know that.
That's a
At all.
stat out of the report, and you can get that and much more if you go to emmaindustryreport.com. I don't know what you'd get at Email Industry Report.
Something entirely different.
But go there now. Great report, tabulated through their recent marketing event.
Lots of
Marketing
good, helpful
United.
information.
Yeah, go check it out. All right, on with the show.
All right,
What
you
you got?
ready?
Yeah.
I have a really nice opening story, actually. So this is a story out of Winnipeg, and it says a surgeon at Winnipeg's Concordia Hospital performed some emergency surgery this week, giving new life to a stuffed animal and helping brighten a long hospital stay for a patient with special needs. Brings a tear to our eye, said Michelle Haber. Her son, Dean, who's 23, has developmental delays, epilepsy, and cerebral palsy, and he's battled recurring pneumonia for years. So the combination of challenges that Dean has means he's in the hospital quite often, and often for long stays. And it says that they usually go at the beginning of a stay. It says that each time they have to take their son to the hospital, they'll go and pick up a new stuffed animal, and the stuffed animal sits on his bed while he's in the hospital. And it says on Thursday, one of the surgeons working with Dean noticed that his stuffed animals had a number of holes and fluff was starting to come out. That's when the hospital staff jumped into action and put on a show for Dean to save his animal. They sewed him up on the bed. They used sterile gloves and the right equipment and performed surgery. And it says that the mom says the small act of kindness, sewing up his stuffed animal, meant the world to her and her family. And the team effort from several nurses and doctors brought a smile to her son's face. It's nice to see something happy happening in the midst of all the closure talks and whatnot. So funding being taken away from hospitals. It's just nice to see people caring. And it says it brings so much joy to everybody. And she loved seeing the length that the staff would go to take care of her son.
We have the picture up here, and they have the little pulse meter on the animal's ear.
Yeah.
It's glorious. Well done. It just takes a little.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't do this because it's good branding. You just do it because it's good.
No, and she's not saying that this is the only thing they're thankful for. Obviously,
Right.
they provide excellent care,
Such
but
a
it's
nice thing, yeah.
it's an extra thing to show the family that during a frightening, isolating time, that they're there for them. And she said it really represents the care that her son has gotten at the hospital. So it's nice to see.
Props out of Winnipeg.
Yeah, thank you.
Fine fine Canadian city. All right, on to an article from entrepreneur.com. Let's go back to the lunacy of the world. It says, man fined $4,000 for liking Facebook comments.
Uh-oh. Did you get yourself in trouble again, Scott? What did you like?
What? I just thought it was a good comment. So it says, reacting to content on Facebook can be achieved by commenting, sharing, or probably the most popular method, hitting that like button. However, a court in Switzerland just convicted a man on defamation claims for simply liking a libelous comment posted on the social network. The comment posted on Facebook referred to an animal rights activist who was accused of, quote, anti-Semitism, racism, and fascism. That's a triple threat right there. To be clear, the man in court did not write these comments. He simply hit the like button for them. These likes were made between July and September 2015. That's before Facebook expanded the like button to include several other reactions. According to CNN, the court in Zurich decided to convict the man on several counts of defamation for hitting the like button. The reason given was his clicking of the like button constituted, quote, indirectly endorsing the comments. But further to that, the court also recognized the act of liking the comments as further distribution of them. A statement made by the court said the defendant clearly endorsed the unseemly content and made it his own. Although the defendant has the right to appeal, his punishment for being found guilty amounts to a $4,100 fine. As for Facebook, they are declining to comment on the court case beyond stating that the social network sees no direct link to the company. Regardless of what comments were made on Facebook, should the act of hitting the like button result in a lawsuit? What's more clear is if the comments are libelous, the person who wrote them can be pursued for prosecution. However you feel about the court case, it's important to keep in mind such action can be taken against an individual. Does the expansion of the like button to include several types of reactions to a comment make the situation better or worse? I guess we won't know that until another Facebook like button lawsuit happens. Oh, we will know because we're going to talk about it right now. What do you think about this?
I think that without the expansion, like now you can like, dislike, love, that, like all of those things. When it was just a like, I think there were times when I read something and I disliked it, and I was like, I wasn't sure what to do. Because I just mean, like, I understand that liking something, like we always talk about that if you retweet something or you share something, the endorsement, unless you really specifically say there's implied endorsement, and I think liking is the same thing because it was like it was endorsement. I like the improvement of having the different things. I like being able to dislike something or be able to react angrily because I don't always want to write a comment. Sometimes I just want to put the angry face and dislike something.
That's how we show support for somebody's comment.
Yeah, so I do think that there was more room to say maybe it was an endorsement when it was just the one choice. I will say that. And I do agree that the person who wrote the comments, that certainly is libel. Like, I think you shouldn't be allowed to spread just false information about somebody. But I do think it's complicated. Like, I think it's gray. And I think people need to know that if you like something or you share something, that's endorsement. Mm-hmm. And I think people need to know that because I think a lot of people don't know that and they just kind of like things without thinking about them.
So if Adam wrote, I hate puppies.
Yeah.
We could nail him for that, and the puppy union could go after him. But if I like that comment, am I held equally accountable for it? Is it like I should be also on the same level as the original creator?
I don't know. And I think we don't know if it's on the same level. Like, did they charge the person with libel who wrote them? I also think it's even more complicated than that because it's Adam saying, like, it's Adam posting, Wayne hates puppies.
Right. Well,
and then you
which
like
is
that.
Known, but that's known.
But then you like that. So who's the person who's at fault?
Right. Kathy.
Because I think sometimes there's that trust, right? So, like, what if the person, like the person who they wrote about, who's the animal rights activist, isn't connected to us, right? I don't know that person. I've only heard about them in the news. Maybe I don't know that person. My friend, who I am connected to, shares this information. I trust that person. That's one of the things that make Facebook go around is this trust, right, between friends. So is there like an inherent trust in that person where I'm just like, well, if Jeff says they are bad people, then they must be bad people because I know Jeff. So
that's what libel is, though, right? Because it influences other people's opinion of something.
Yeah. So I don't think it should be the same, but I do think that. But I like the idea of people being more accountable for the things they like and share. So I guess I see it as a move in the right direction.
This is the first I saw of this type of thing, right? It's
pretty extreme. I think.
I don't think it'll be the last, though. Right, anything if you can, especially if you can prove damages.
Do you agree that having the different variety of reactions makes that better?
Yeah, of course. And same idea, because when somebody says, my dog just died,
like if it's
can't
just
click
like, no.
I like that.
Yeah.
Again, Adam would click like.
Of course,
on it,
because
but
he hates dogs.
I wouldn't put. But they have the sad one. I've used it.
Yeah.
I've used I think all of them where it makes sense, right? So because it is emotion.
Have you ever pressed the wrong one by accident?
Oh yeah,
I have.
I laughed
a lot of times.
I laughed. Somebody lost their job.
Yeah, oops. Because they're right beside each other, and you can really easily press the wrong one.
I changed it.
Yeah,
quickly.
you change it quickly.
Yeah, you just hope the notification didn't. It's just in the edit history.
Yeah,
you went from laughing to
sharing
sad.
something. There's a double, you have to do it twice, right?
Yeah.
You have to share, and then you have to share
post,
it, click again. But with liking, it's so light. And I'm always I'm going to press the wrong one by accident. I think they should group them, the positive ones should be on one side and the negative one should be on another side.
But there's a big ramifications of this outside of even, let's say, a libel lawsuit.
Yeah.
Of an employer. What happens if you employ somebody and you see them like something that's a little off-putting or off-center or off-color?
Yeah.
That's all. And it was what I found interesting in here. What I actually really stood out for me was the point where it made it. The court recognized the act of liking the comments as further distribution of them.
Yeah.
That's really the key here too.
Because once you like it, it opens it up to your friends.
Your
right?
friend. Allison just liked this. So that's a big part. And you do amplify the original sentiment. And that's big.
on Instagram too. When you look in Instagram, you see people who you follow. Because sometimes you go to the random search on Instagram. Some people don't do that, but I like to if I'm bored. And so I'm just the people I don't follow. It's just random, and I'll see 3 or 4 people that I follow liked this, and I'll be like, oh, you were looking at this junk too. So I see what they liked also, right?
Right.
And that connects those people to whatever it is I'm kind of flipping through.
Right.
And I pay attention to that. So I know if I put a heart on something on Instagram, that if those people go, they're going to see Allison like this.
Yeah.
So I'm careful about that.
Your digital footprint follows you and, well, as we see, right, can get you into trouble.
Yeah, and our next story follows along from that theme. This is from theconsumerist.com. At least 10 students lose Harvard acceptance for posting ill-advised memes on Facebook.
Oh, this is a train wreck.
Yeah, at least 10 students who had been accepted as members of Harvard's class of 2021 have already learned an important lesson about real-life consequences for online behavior. They had their offers of admission rescinded after the college learned that they had been posting wildly inappropriate memes on a private Facebook group. Here, wildly inappropriate means any combination of racist, bigoted, sexually explicit, or violent. The group was meant as a Harvard 2021 specific version of a popular Facebook-wide meme posting group, and its name changed a few times. Still, administrators found out about the group and its content and revoked offers of admissions for students in the group. A few examples of posts from the Harvard Crimson sites are posts referring to a hanging of a Mexican child as piñata time, and posts mocking sexual assault or the Holocaust. These are the things that are part of common discourse on some terrible parts of the internet, yet they are not part of common discourse at Harvard, or the administration doesn't want them to be. And so these students, it says one student who was a member of the group explained to the Crimson group that members met in the main Facebook group, which was sent to the admittance. So they've joined the Facebook group. They want to go to Harvard. They join it. They applied. They get accepted. And then, they start to see this subgroup of people. Because you see that, right? Once you become friends or connected with someone, there's a line, right, that shows other groups that they're in. So it started coming up and they joined. And then you get encouraged because other people are sharing these awful things. You start sharing, it's like a bit of a hive mentality, right? And so it says the admission committee was disappointed to learn that several students in a private group chat for the class of 2021 were sending messages that contained offensive messages and graphics. And so they emailed them and rescinded their admissions.
And here's back to the previous story, right? Where if you posted the racist meme or the anti-Semitic meme or something like that, and then one of the other people clicked like, you lost your offer too.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine getting accepted to Harvard. And then you post what you think is a dank meme, and you're out.
I think we need to be teaching, I think it's a problem that somebody who you assume they're fairly intelligent because maybe that's a wrong assumption, but they've gotten all this way. They're 18-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids. They've applied to one of the best universities in the world. They've gotten accepted. You would think there would be some intelligence. And obviously there's this cruelty or lack of understanding about what the internet is about. Like the fact that they think that it's not private. I don't think it would be right in a private setting for a bunch of friends to sit around and exchange these jokes, but that's private. And anything on Facebook at any time, no matter what the group is, or any text or any email can be made public. And they did this in a public setting. They went to the middle of Harvard's Center Square and yelled these things, basically. And how they got this to this age without understanding that, it is disappointing. I think it should be part of regular education for kids. Like, it's a public space.
Never post, say, or do anything you don't want an admissions officer to see.
I can't even imagine what their parents would do.
How about not be racist? That would also be good.
But I mean, and that's what I mean, right? Like and that's why I understand why the school should be able to do this.
Of course.
Because
I don't think there was a question if they should or shouldn't.
If they'd put that on their application, they wouldn't get in. So how is this any different?
Although I'm not against putting dank memes on my application.
I don't honestly am too old to know what dank memes
Just
means.
a great meme. Really funny.
It can be funny. I don't think Harvard doesn't let people in who are funny.
But then that's why I use the word dank.
That's a weird word.
Well, I know, but I
Is it like our made-up word this week? Is dank?
No, I can't help that I make dank memes. They get
please
titled
stop
dank.
saying it.
Dank.
It sounds awful.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, I can't help making them.
I think it's good that they didn't let them in. I feel badly for their families, but...
You can take the man out of the dank, but you can't take the dank
Do
out
you
of
think
my
they already
memes.
paid tuition?
Amazing, right? What kind of conversation do you have with your kids after that? We messed up for the past 18 years. Like, what is it? Oi. You know who's still going to Harvard, though, is Emma. She looks like she went to Harvard.
Yeah, she's really enjoying her second year there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's enjoying it. She's made some good friends.
She has a PhD.
She's on the rugby team.
She has a PhD in getting your email delivered. That's what she's got. Go to emmaindustryreport.com to grab their most recent report of the state of the nation when it comes to marketing. They support us. We hope you support them because they're awesome. Now, on with the show. With a very, the way software's going. And I find, this is actually something I find really fascinating. There's two parts of business I really always want to read something when I see it. The music industry and the video game industry, which then moves both of it because of their disc-based things, used to be shifting into the software industry. Now, what I mean is, we know the CDs went to the iTunes and digital, and now we're renting music and we're Spotify. We're not even owning the music now. And then video games I find fascinating because I still play Xbox and I enjoy it. But I order the game on the platform.
Yeah.
And I download it. So we've cut out retail, and to a great benefit of the game publishers and Xbox themselves, because it's like iTunes for games, but it's all within the platform. What you look at, and it cuts out the secondary market, and that's what we're about to talk about now when it comes to software. But it cuts out the secondary and the pirated market, right? You don't download a pirated. You can get a disc pirated and stuff, but the DRM and all that type of stuff digitally is different. This leads us to this, which is Adobe, and an article about Adobe shifting to subscription-based software versus the in-the-box shelf new version of the Adobe product that you have to buy or then upgrade every year. And it's a fairly large outlay of money at the start, and then you decide you want to upgrade it for X amount of money. This is from Bloomberg.com. It says how Adobe got its customers hooked on subscriptions. The switch to the cloud was risky, but the revenue is way up. When Adobe Systems started the transition from a product sales model to a cloud-based subscription model less than 5 years ago, the move looked risky. Skeptics figured it would eat into the rich profit margins of the company's pricey design, photography, and video software. At the time, prices on its popular Creative Suite package, which bundled together with Photoshop, Illustrator, and other programs, started at $1,300 and went as high as $2,600, depending on the version. Meanwhile, some customers openly rebelled against the idea of renting cloud-based versions in perpetuity. About 50,000 signed a Change.org petition. Is it really a protest until we have a Change.org petition?
I don't know.
Demanding the company abandon the scheme. Revenue shrank 8% in 2013 and was pretty much flat the next year. And there aren't many doubters. Today, Adobe's revenue was just shy of $5.9 billion for the fiscal year ended in November, up from $4 billion in 2013, and about 80% of that came from subscriptions and other recurring sources. Melissa Webster, Program VP for Content and Digital Media Technologies at researcher IDC. He calls it a great example of smart paranoia, says Webster. If they didn't reinvent, someone might reinvent them out of business. When Adobe began thinking about leaping to the cloud, less than 5% of its revenue came from subscription products. Every single quarter, we started from scratch. And that's the important point to me here, says Chief Financial Officer Mark Garrett. The downside of the sales model became painfully clear during the recession when revenue dropped 18% in a single year. I don't have to buy the product. I can't afford it. I already have it.
I have the old one.
I have the one, which is just is
or I can get a copy without paying for it.
A pilot program in Australia followed, then an initial subscription offering, then the big step, announcing it would stop selling its Creative Suite products. Customers could keep using their existing software, but if they wanted to get updates and product support years into the future, it would be the cloud or nothing. It was a no retreat, burn the boat strategy, Garrett says. It could work only if customers and Adobe itself had no choice. And then there's this backlash from people, and there's this and that. But it was fascinating to see this switch, this giant company that relied on the box on the shelf, pretty much in one way or the other, shifting to this. And we subscribed to it. We have a membership.
I think it's really smart. I just feel as though it's
Microsoft Office has done it as well. A bunch of them have.
You can get updates. Like I do understand people being upset if they had purchased it and felt like they weren't going to get the updates. I understand that, but I don't think you can do it in a half kind of a way. I think they're smart to say no, this is what we're doing now, and we can't do both. We can't divide it. I don't think. And I see benefits. I see benefits when we have software and you get the update and you're always using the latest version and you pay a monthly fee instead of a one big time purchase. You kind of pay every single month, which for most people makes things more affordable, I think. Yeah. And then if there's issues, they can get patches and updates. And it's just the way technology's going. It's even the sharing aspect of things, like the idea, with Spotify or with different platforms where or Apple, where we share it. Because I think so many people, that's the way software works now. It's you don't have one copy of a disc. You buy a subscription and the whole family can use it, or business can use it and get all the updates. And I think it's really smart.
And the bonus for them is it stops a huge, if not all, pirating.
Yeah, because there isn't any, what are you going to pirate?
It's to log in on the subscription. Now, Adam, see, one of the things it doesn't do, when you bought the box, you also didn't get updates the next year, right? You had to pay for the upgrade, the update to the new version.
Yeah,
right?
since they weren't free before.
It's not like they came and said, you bought that box, you were getting unlimited updates, and now we're stopping. It was you bought the box and you can still use it.
I think about it in terms of resources as well. If you want to get the best possible customer service from a company, and that company right now is devoting a huge amount of resources to those purchases, right? Because you have to start over every quarter, every year. You start again, trying to get people to buy the new version when it came in a box. When you sign people up for a subscription, you have more resources to dedicate to customer service. You have more resources to dedicate to product improvements and all these things. I think it's a better model for the way things work with technology today.
Wayne, what about the stuff you use? Is that still sold box-wise or is it subscription?
The new versions are subscription-based.
Yeah.
Your older versions will still work as
same idea, right? Yeah. So it's a subscription for the new stuff. Yeah. Old stuff still works.
So you can buy it. They'll give you, I think you can have a year's worth of updates the year after you buy. Right. And then you have to, but I still think it's monthly or yearly pay.
And what do you think about it?
I'm okay with it as long as I'm still on an older version, actually, so I haven't had a full work through of it.
You're recording the show on an old version of software.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but as a professional in the industry, then would you prefer that low monthly cost versus the having to buy full versions every?
Yeah, it works out better for me.
Works out better for you, Adam.
Yeah,
you're good with it too.
Yeah, as long as you can get the support.
As long as you can get the support. Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. If you're a professional, well, you want it to work.
Yeah.
You want it to work well, and you want the updates. Because one of the people said in the article, a detractor of it was saying when they had to sell a new version or make you upgrade a huge amount of money to a better version, they had incentive to improve the product immensely to make each version distinctively different. It's like buying Madden or 2K or something like that, where look at all these new ones, so you'd want to buy the new one, not just the new. But
the industry provides motivation to continually improve their
competition
product.
Provides
there's
that.
There's other companies offering the software. And I mean, today, Tesla, you can download updates to your car, for goodness sakes. Yeah. It just seems like that's where information's going.
But now both you guys have your preferences for software, right? You have choices.
Yes.
And you like to use this. What would it take for you to change that?
I was actually going to bring that up. It's like how many people went back to Adobe just because that's what they're used to,
Right. Like
initially.
Yeah. So the switch, like what would a company have to do to make you switch? Like to go all, like how different are the programs? That's the thing, right? That's anything in change, right? You're not going to change banks too often because it's a pain in the ass. But when you finally do, it's then you can jump ship. But like software is something you're used to. It would not take a huge amount of friction for you to change.
There's definitely like functionality things that would take me a long time to get up to speed on
Right.
another program. So
Right.
it would take a fair amount.
Yeah, so you're already locked in. So it's like the people who are protesting are also protesting like, we're angrily still going to pay. Like they're still going to do it.
Or they didn't like the software to begin with.
Or they
And
didn't
this
pay
is
to
just
begin with. And it's
or they didn't pay to
pirated
begin
versions
with.
anyway. So.
But we saw it too when we spoke to Scott Harrison and we were talking about from a charity point of view about subscriptions. And like it's just easier over time to do business in a way where people are, paying incremental amounts of time, and having loyalty. Like I just feel like it's what people want as well.
We said this when we talked to the Humane Society about we were helping them out with
Donations,
donations. I'd rather have somebody sign up for $5 a month, a monthly program, than give me $200 on the spot. Because I have to re-raise that money every time I've got to go. And that's
Which
what Scott
isn't
was
that
saying
much,
with Charity
Scott
Water,
said it
right?
too, and it's not that much different when you look at it from a business perspective.
Same
It's
thing.
the same. Like I just feel like you can dedicate those resources you would have spent on better products and better service, or I hope they would. That would be my hope. Yeah.
And it also the collaboration part works better when it's in the cloud. If you have different users, different people contributing to it, they can all go up into that program, and you're not dealing with different versions all the time, right? And Adam was saying that can you send this to me in this version? Can this file be in this version because I don't have the right software or the up-to-date software?
Plus, the tech is going that way too. Like
Right.
I don't know the last time you put a disk into your computer, but
Yeah, I wouldn't even know. I don't know.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, got a CD.
You know
I'm
what-
like, I can't put this anywhere.
You know what I mean? Even if it's a one-time digital purchase, it's still
Computers
better.
don't even come with disk drives.
They don't come with
it's
drives
still
anymore.
better
Yeah.
to have the subscription a little bit at a time, I think. So this story made me laugh. I think it's really funny. So this is from the Washington Post. It says Walmart is asking employees to deliver packages on their way home from work, which I think is funny. It says, Walmart's newest tactic in its fight against Amazon is enlisting its employees to deliver orders on their way home from work. Are you really on your way home from work if you're still working? Ask yourself that question.
That's a good question.
The idea, Walmart executives said Thursday, is to cut costs on this so-called last mile of deliveries when packages are driven to customers' homes, often the most expensive part of the fulfillment process. It just makes sense. We already have trucks moving orders from fulfillment centers to stores for pickup. Mark Lohr said, the chief executive of Walmart's e-commerce business and the founder of Jet.com. These same trucks could be used to bring ship-to-home orders to a store close to their final destination, where a participating associate can sign up to deliver them to a customer's house. I know I want all of the people that work at my local Walmart to know where I live. Oh, God. Okay, the company began testing the package delivery program a month ago in 3 stores, 2 in New Jersey, 1 in Northwest Arkansas, but did not offer details on when or where it would expand across the United States. Employees will be paid extra for the voluntary program and offered overtime pay as necessary to make the deliveries. Walmart said one of the Walmart spokespeople. Walmart is uniquely qualified, uniquely positioned to be able to offer this, he said, adding that 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart store. There is really a strong overlap between where our associates are already heading after work and where those packages need to go. I'm sorry, is this real? Mm-hmm. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it just really bothers me. I can't. First of all, it doesn't seem like it's a volunteer program. Like you're just asking. You're asking your employer.
You'll be voluntold?
You're asking your employers to be drivers, right?
Yeah.
Like you're hiring.
Which brings in a whole other legal thing. Yes, of course.
So like,
I love the idea of them being able to make extra money.
Yeah.
And if they're already going that way, sure. But you open up a whole other world.
But are they like? Is this their car that they're driving? Are they driving Walmart vehicles?
We had somebody drop something off from Amazon 2 days ago, and he pulled up in a Hyundai.
Yeah, sometimes there's a big variation in what vehicle the people. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah,
Some
it's not
was
just UPS or
No.
or FedEx or the Postal Service. It's just
and some
a
people
guy in a-
ask for like your stuff, and then some people don't. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's very strange. It's good they have the same box every time, or I would be like, I don't know where that package
where
is
does this
from.
come from? But that last mile thing is a huge impact in business. It's a great term, and it really makes sense. And that is true. Walmart has the infrastructure of locations, right? They have that. With the majority of Americans live within 10 miles of Walmart. But again, it's just what people are picturing is just anybody willy-nilly walking out of Walmart taking a package to your house when you got to qualify something. Right?
So it says here the company is billing the program as a way for employees to earn extra money. They could pay them more, but that's just my own feedback. Although there were few details on how they would be paid. So they're trying to get information to clarify whether employees would be paid based on distance, time, number of deliveries, or a combination of the things. Labor experts say the arrangement, a mashup of sorts between an Uber-style gig economy and traditional employment arrangements, raises a number of questions related to employee having to shoulder much of the risk, cost, and liability associated with the deliveries. The practice seemed ripe for abuse if the company does not compensate workers for the full cost of their journey, the expenses related to gas, car depreciation, and potential problems like accidents, tickets, and parking expenses.
And it changes their insurance if they're a delivery car. Like their insurance is that they're not insured for deliveries.
No, there's a huge difference between your car you drive to work and a car
vehicle.
you use for work.
Oh yeah,
huge
100%. It changes insurance. It changes what has an item in there. There's a huge impact of that. But I like the thought. I like the thought of saying we have the locations. How do we then? Because everybody's got to try to. Even Walmart has to figure out how to compete with Amazon. Amazon loses money on every shipment when it comes to shipping. A lot of times because of Prime, right? And there's a money issue there. And how does Walmart compete? Well, locations.
Yeah, and I think there's a strong, so listen to this sentence. At the end of the article, it says, to say this is a voluntary program is like throwing a life preserver to someone drowning in a lake, he added. When so many workers are paid so little that they need government assistance to make ends meet, it becomes a necessity, not a choice, to do what they can to earn more.
Yeah, what if they don't want to volunteer?
Yeah, and what Walmart is really doing is not paying, let's say, UPS or a large logistics company who are bonded and insured and professional people who cost a certain amount of money, and instead they're saying, we're not going to do this. We're going to pay our part-time employees or even our full-time employees a little extra on the side to drop off packages around the corner. Like that.
Mm-hmm. And what if somebody draws the short straw? It's like, oh, you live closest, but even though you didn't volunteer, well, you're dropping off the package.
It's the legal ramifications that concern me for sure.
Or if something happens to your package, or if the employee ends up not to be a good person and hurt somebody at the house. Like, there's just so many things that could go wrong. It's a little bit. It's not on the up and up.
Speaking of not up in the up and up, let's do a made-up word.
Sure.
Made up word. Don't make any sense. Made up word. Don't mean no offense. Made up word. It brings laziness. What is all this craziness? Made up. They're made up.
Scott temporary lost the made-up word sheet.
We got it. We scrambled.
There was a crisis in made-up word land.
Ooh, so the made-up word is a word you run across. It's usually made up by a company that they think they're cool and they're not. If you see a word that makes you say WTF, send it on over. And if we choose your word to do on the show, we will give you any one of our books. You just let us know which one. From all the current titles, including the upcoming on branding out in October, 100 branding stories in the age of disruption. This week's made-up word is brought to us by Aaron Rushing. The word is Dandaid. 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 Wayne.
I don't know.
I know what this word
Kathy
means.
back there?
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Not a clue. Adam.
I bet Adam has done this.
Over 3. A Dandaid is when your dad makes you a Band-Aid with duct tape and paper towel.
I feel confident, Adam, if you've not already done this, that one day you will do this.
But you know how that was found? It was forwarded by Erin. She saw it on Instagram because it was in a dank meme. That's how she saw it. A kid actually had on his arm a duct tape with paper towel, and the person captioned it Dandaid. One of my only favorite made-up words. It's a good one.
I think it's a good one.
I think you have done it.
I bet you have. If you have it, you will. You will, for sure.
You're Bob the Builder and stuff at your family. You're rocking some Dandaids.
Absolutely.
You know it. Got a question?
I do have a question. This week's question is from Karen Josepher. And Karen is considering starting a podcast, and she wanted to ask for some advice.
We can find somebody who knows something about them.
Considering starting a podcast to help establish my expertise, how specific should it be? And what are the top 5 things you would recommend to promote and or structure a strong podcast? Also, what are some things to avoid?
Whew. It's like asking somebody, can I ask you one question? There's 7 in there.
Well, let's do the 5 tips. Let's talk about the 5. What do you think your 5 tips are for what she wants? She said what she wants to do. She wants to establish herself as an expert.
Right.
5 tips to create a strong podcast to do that. What would you say?
Number 1, don't let listeners ask you questions.
He's kidding, Karen. He's kidding.
Well, I think it's anything in business. Number 1 is you have a passion for the topic. So when she's talking, because this answers part of our other question too, right? How specific should it be?
Yeah.
It's passion for the topic. I love doing this show. I don't know about you, but I love doing this show.
It's okay. I'm warming up to it.
Because
it's coming around.
I love us.
Aw.
I tolerate the crew. And I love the topic.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about this stuff all the time. And that's when you know you found the right topic about what you do, because then you will attract that, because that passion attracts interest for things. And I think that is paramount to anything else. Number 2, I would create some structure, which is hilarious when we talk about it with our show. But meaning we come to this studio once a month and we record the month's worth of episodes. We could do it at home. We could do it ourselves. It wouldn't be as good on many fronts. It wouldn't look as good.
It would never be complete.
And it would never be done. Because it allows us to, we structure the day,
Yeah.
we book it in the calendar a month out, and this is the day we do it. And if you don't do that, it'll fall to the wayside.
Absolutely.
And you won't get it done. And then you lose that consistency. And if you want to build an audience for a show, we have found, hey, I don't blog consistently. I don't post on Facebook consistently. I don't do any of this. We do the show consistently.
We do.
Because that's how you build this listenership for it. And so that's a big thing. Creating the structure then creates number 3, which is consistency. I don't care if it's an hour long. I don't care if it's 10 minutes long or half an hour long. It's nice to have about the same range, though, I think.
I think it's good for people to know what they're going to expect.
Yeah, it's a half-hour show. We know
Yeah.
that. If you listen to Joe Rogan, you're going to get 4 hours. You're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Where we listen to How I Built This, I know it's going to be about 30, 35
Yeah,
minutes.
it's expectations.
Yeah, I think it gives us familiarity with the show as well. Number 4, I would find it outsource your weaknesses. I would look at it and say, look, the only thing we do for this show is we do this. We come in and we record it. We have found the most talented, least expensive people we could find. No, but we found the people we want to work with for this show. So from video to audio to hair and makeup to post-production to all those things where we knew that I know that I'm the big bottleneck in most production things when it comes to our business because I don't want to do them. And
He wants to do this, though.
I love doing this.
Yeah.
And also we can't swap this out. Like this is our talent part. That's a micro thing for business.
We'd
in
like a
general.
step in Scott Nelson that came when
just
we
a
didn't feel like
fill-in.
doing it.
One day.
Maybe they won't notice.
Hello. This is Scott and Ellis. And you wouldn't even know, except the video would be harder. So it'd be like this face printouts. But so I would, and again, I know if you're starting out, I don't know where you are in your business, and I don't know your financial situation with it, but there are ways to find people to do things that you don't know or you don't do the best. I want to find the people who can do it better, more efficiently, and you've got to be willing to pay for that. And I think that's important because it allows you to focus on the most important part of the show for you, which is your content. And then you can do that. And the other challenge, and this is a challenge that most shows face that we don't, is the guests. Because we don't have them. We've had a couple of people ever on the show, and one person via Skype, which was Scott Harrison from Charity Water. So it's very rare. A lot of shows, though, depend on the guest. And because most shows are just guest-driven, and a lot of guests will agree to be on your show if they have something to promote. So you got to be careful with that. But the skill of interviewing is a really tough skill to master. And it's like the show How I Built This by Guy Raz on NPR. He's so good at interviewing that it got to the point after listening to about 5, 6, 7 episodes, I started listening to the episodes, I knew who the brand was. I listened to Starbucks. I listened to Spanx. I listened to, I've heard of Warby Parker. And then after that, I'm like, I don't care who's on.
Yeah.
He's just that good. And it's that interesting. So
I listen to every single one now.
I would do your research. And the worst thing you can do, because as people who are asked to be guests on podcasts, the worst type of hosts are the ones who don't do the research, the ones who just think your job is to fill the show. And the ones who do the research, it's refreshing, it's fun. Because everybody, and here's one of the secrets of the industry, you ask these bigger guests to be on your show and in hopes they'll promote your show. That's how you start building an audience. I will not promote somebody's show because I was on the show. I will promote their show if I loved being on it.
Yeah, I think the more planning you put into it, especially when you have guests, the more effortless it looks. And I think that really shows when you see someone who's a real interviewer who's prepped and knows what they're talking about, then it seems really effortless. It seems like a conversation because they never get stalled. They always know what they're going to talk about. And for her, I think if I had to give advice, I would say just to remember why you started it in the first place. I think sometimes it could have some success and people could start telling you to monetize it and you need sponsors and all that stuff. If you really want to do it as a marketing thing to position yourself, then remember that. And don't sell it out and don't try and fill it with commercials and stuff. I think it's important to remember why you started and what your goals are for the show and not let other people's goals kind of be put on top of why you wanted to do it.
And ignore what I do a lot is ignore the metrics, especially when you start. I look at them, and that's the problem. Is especially when you start.
I can't make him stop. I've tried.
It's going to be really low. You're going to get 3 downloads. Like if you have an existing,
we don't get 3 downloads anymore.
Yeah, but if you have an existing platform,
then
that's different, right? So I don't know what we have frame of reference what we have with
Karen.
with Karen here, but if you have no platform, you're going to get no downloads because you can't.
Be patient for sure.
It takes time. It takes time to build it. It takes time to build momentum, and you just gotta. I think at the start you just do it because you love the topic, and it's a positioning thing.
I think it's the only reason to do it at the beginning.
I think so too, and that's why we did it. Yeah. And I also don't pay attention to how many numbers you've given on the list when you ask for the 5 things because I think we've done 6. I don't know.
Yeah, about
but
6.
that's really at the end of the day.
It's a really good question, though.
If we didn't love doing it, if it's a chore, it'll sound like it.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do as a chore.
Right. So, great question.
Thanks, Karen.
Both for the made-up word from Aaron and from Karen with the question. Just drop us a line and let us know which book you want. We'll have it on the way to you. And if you have a question or a made-up word, please send it to us on Twitter, @unmarketing, @unallison, Unmarketing Facebook page, or unmarketing.com at the contact form. If we select yours, cash and prizes are yours. Mine is the cash. I'm Scott.
I'm Allison.
And we are the UnPodcast.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and visit theunpodcast.com. And remember, friends don't let friends use QR codes.